They say a fire does not begin with the flames that destroy houses. A fire begins with a single spark, ignored, hidden, dismissed as nothing. And that spark, if left alone, will grow until it consumes everything. In Africa, the ancestors gave us a warning, wrapped in a proverb. The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. Do you hear those words? They are not only poetry. They are not only wisdom. They are prophecies. A child's hunger is not only in the belly. A child hungers also for love, for a hand to guide them, for a place among the people. Deny them food, and they will grow thin. Deny them love, and they will grow dangerous. This is the story of Kofi, the boy who stood outside the circle of warmth, until the cold in his heart became fire in his hands. Some say this story happened long ago, in a village of red earth and green fields. But look closely. Perhaps it is happening now, in our own villages, our own homes, our own lives. Listen well. For in the ashes of Kofi's story lies a truth we cannot afford to forget. Kofi's life began in shadows. His father, a hunter, died before Kofi could even form words. His mother, weakened by grief and illness, soon followed. By the time he was old enough to understand the world, he had no one to call his own. He lived with distant relatives, but not in love, in obligation. They saw him not as a son, not even as a nephew, but as an extra mouth, an unwanted shadow in their yard. Eat quickly, boy, before the dogs take it, they would snap, handing him scraps. His clothes were old rags, patched until the patches had patches. He worked harder than any child his age. From dawn, he carried buckets from the river, the load so heavy his shoulders ached. He chopped wood until his palms blistered. He swept yards, fetched tools, and cleaned huts. Yet no matter how much he did, there were no words of thanks. Only, "Lazy boy, why are you standing idle? Find more to do." When he tried to join the children of the village, they laughed. Kofi the orphan. Kofi, the fatherless goat. He has no one, so he is no one. One day, he tried to play wrestling. At first, the children allowed him, and for a moment his heart leapt with joy. But when he won one round, they cried foul. No. He is cursed. He cannot win fairly. They shoved him into the dust, leaving him with scraped knees and burning humiliation. The elders ignored him as well. When he sat near their fire, hoping to hear stories of gods and ancestors, they shooed him away. Go stand in the shadows, boy. The fire is not for you. And so, night after night, Kofi stood at the edges, watching flames flicker while he shivered in the cold. A child does not only eat with the mouth. He eats with the heart. And when the heart is starved, the spirit begins to twist. Kofi never stopped trying. One morning, an old woman struggled under a bundle of firewood. Kofi rushed to help, his thin arms straining to lift the weight. "I can carry it for you, grandmother." But she snatched it back. "No, boy. You will drop it. You are more trouble than help." Another time, he begged the hunters. "Let me carry the spears. I will walk behind. I only wish to learn." The leader laughed, his teeth flashing. "Learn. A boy without a father cannot hunt. Go and chase chickens. That is all your arms are fit for." Still, Kofi tried to find belonging. He carved a little drum from hollow wood and stretched an old goatskin across it. One evening, he sat near the drummers, beating softly, his face bright with hope. The other boys grabbed it, sneered, and threw it into the fire. "The drum is for sons of the village. Not for shadows like you." The skin curled and blackened, the wood cracking as Kofi stared, his chest hollow. Hope is like a flame. Feed it, and it grows. Smother it, and it dies. For Kofi, each rejection was water poured over his fire. But even ashes can be stirred into flame again if the wind is cruel enough. The season of harvest came. The granaries were full, the yams heavy, the goats fat. To celebrate, the village prepared a feast. Women pounded yam until the mortar shook. Men slaughtered goats, their meat roasting over great fires. The smell of stew thick with spices floated through the air, making even the well-fed lick their lips. Children chased each other, their laughter mixing with the beat of drums that thundered into the night. The entire village gathered in the square. Everyone, except Kofi. He stood at the edge, barefoot in the dust, his eyes wide, his stomach aching. The firelight lit up his thin face, and for a moment he thought, maybe tonight, maybe they will let me join. He stepped forward, inch by inch, until the warmth of the fire brushed his skin. Then a man turned, scowling. "Where are you going, boy? This feast is not for you. Go back to your shadows." The crowd turned. Some laughed outright. Others shook their heads in pity. Look at him, thinking he belongs. He eats nothing, yet his eyes are big like a greedy goat. Kofi froze, the laughter pressing on him like heavy stones. His lips trembled, but no words came. Slowly, he turned back, his tears catching the firelight like glass. Behind him, the laughter roared louder, drums beating, meat sizzling. The village feasted until their bellies were full, while Kofi's hunger grew sharper than knives. The coldness of rejection can freeze the spirit more deeply than the coldest night. And when the spirit is frozen, even fire begins to look like love. Kofi walked to the edge of the village, where the baobab tree stood like a giant guard in the night. He sat beneath it, hugging his knees, the drumbeat of the feast still echoing in the distance. "Why do they hate me? Why do they never see me?" he whispered. Tears rolled down, but soon dried. In their place rose anger, slow, steady, burning. "If they will not give me warmth, I will make my own. If they will not remember me in kindness, they will remember me in flames." He gathered sticks. He struck stones. Sparks leapt. The dry grass caught. A flame flickered, then grew. At first, it warmed only his hands. But as the flames rose, so did his thoughts. They gave me nothing. No food. No love. No place. But tonight, they will have something from me. They will have fire. His eyes glowed orange. His lips curled into a bitter smile. The boy who once begged for embrace now fed on defiance. At first, only smoke drifted, a thin ribbon against the night sky. But then the wind came. The flames leapt higher, catching a hot, then another. The drumming stopped. The laughter faltered. Then came the scream. "Fire! Fire!" Panic spread like the flames themselves. Women clutched children, men shouted orders, everyone rushing to save what they could. They beat the flames with branches, poured water that sizzled uselessly. But the fire laughed at them, racing faster, hungrier. Goats bleated in terror, chickens scattered, pots cracked in the heat. The feast that had been their pride turned to ashes before their eyes. And in the middle of the chaos, one figure stood still, Kofi. The firelight painted his face in orange and shadow. For the first time, everyone was looking at him. "Now you see me," he whispered. His heart swelled with power, but deep inside, sorrow still whispered, "This is not the warmth you wanted." But he silenced it, feeding another branch into the flames. By dawn, the village lay in ruins. Blackened huts. Ashes where food had been. Silence where laughter once rang. The elders gathered, their faces heavy with shame. One said, "If we had given him a seat at our table, he would not have set fire to it." Another added, "If we had given him love, he would not have sought warmth in the flames." The children listened, their eyes wide. The women wept softly. The men bowed their heads. The ashes became their teacher. And from that day forward, they passed down the words. The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. It was not just a proverb. It was a scar carved into their memory. Asterisk, every child needs belonging. Every child needs love. Deny it, and the world may one day feel the flames of their loneliness. So I ask you, in your village, in your family, in your school, in your community, who are the children standing outside the circle of firelight? Who are the ones waiting for an embrace that never comes? Will you let them freeze in the cold? Or will you stretch out your hand before it is too late? The story of Kofi is not only about one boy. It is about all of us. It is about the power we hold to make a child feel seen, or to push them into shadows where fire grows. If this story touched you, like it, share it, and subscribe for more tales of African wisdom. Let this story spread like fire, not fire that destroys, but fire that warms, guides, and brings us together. Join our circle. Because every story told is another flame keeping the darkness away. Asterisk.